Hey, happy Tuesday to you. So today just some deep thoughts again today. I want to talk about being tenderhearted, and especially as women, I would love for those of you that are listening, if you catch me live, let me know that you're here. If you are on the replay, let me know that you've listened, and would love for you to engage either here in the comments or send me a message, because I have a very strong feeling and belief that we are being called to go deeper within ourselves. And so I've been really thinking about this tenderheartedness, because I look at my kids, and my younger two are 16 and 13, and they still have very tender hearts. And, still very young at heart in a sense, even though they're also quite mature for their age. And actually, Leanne could be a little questionable because she loves to be a kid, and that's okay. But my point is, they're really tenderhearted. And I think about also like little kids, right? Like really young kids, and how we categorize them, or we label them as tenderhearted. And what does that mean, right? It usually means they're really great at showing compassion, and they're really kind to other people, and especially other kids, right? They sense the emotion that other people have, and they're connected to that, and they respond, right, in a really kind and gentle way. And I've watched that with my, mostly almost all grown girls, and the kind-heartedness and the compassion that they have. And then I've also thought about my own heart and the tenderness that I have been experiencing with my own heart. And what that means for me is that, like, I feel it, like I have a visceral response to feeling my heart. I'm very tender. Some days I feel really raw, in that I easily feel my emotions. But not from wow, she's wild and all over the place, but just that I'm aware that there is an energy moving through me that's creating an emotional wave, right? I feel like if we could all understand that our emotions are just waves, and learn to be with them instead of numbing them down. And so my point here today is to, I just had a very tender moment, a very raw moment, even now. Part of it is acknowledging that publicly feels very vulnerable. And yet, this is what we are being called to. We are being called to feel our hearts. And I get it. There are probably some of you that think, well, I feel my heart. I love my kids. I love my spouse. I love my friends. And I want to ask you to really think about that. How much do you feel that versus how much do you just know it and say it from your headspace? Because there's a very big difference. And I firmly believe that we cannot love with our whole heart until we feel our whole heart, until we feel the raw tenderness that exists just being alive in the human experience. But what most of us have done is we've lived a life of protection. We've built this wall and this fortress around our hearts so that we're not expressing it. You're not getting the fullest expression of who you are in any given moment, because you've protected yourself from feeling pain. And one of the hardest things to do, but one of the most beautiful things to do, is to learn to feel all of that pain so that you can feel the beauty and the aliveness that's on the other side. And it does involve risk. It involves vulnerability, first of all, with ourselves. The willingness to acknowledge that things aren't actually the way I'd like for them to be, that I am not as satisfied as I would like to be in this life. And that's hard to admit, not just to other people, but to ourselves. It's so hard to be honest with ourselves when it comes to that. And so today, this is just an invitation to contemplate for yourself, are you willing to be more tender-hearted so that you have the opportunity to experience a more full life, full expression. Excuse me while I get a Kleenex. Full expression doesn't mean that you're always happy. Full expression means you feel all of the emotions. Full expression. All expression is welcome in your life. And I feel like this is so important, especially right now, because as women, I feel like we are being called forward. We are being called to heal the pain in our hearts. We are being called to heal the generational programming and the societal programming. And we are here to shift the way the entire planet operates. And if you haven't heard before, some years ago, the Dalai Lama said the Western woman would save the world. That's us. And that's now. It's not later. So if you're alive on this planet right now and you're female and you have a calling, you feel like there's more available to you, there is. And it starts by getting honest with yourself. It starts with facing yourself. And this is not easy work. I'm not going to pretend that it's easy, but it's necessary. It's necessary. And so when you can feel the tenderness of your heart, just like kids do, you experience a fullness that really is indescribable. And then what else it opens up for you is receiving. And as women, because we've been raised in a very masculine society, we have difficulty really opening the receiving doors. I had a coach once ask me, how good are you willing to let it get? And I have pondered, this gets my heart, I've pondered that question over and over and over. Because I really believe that it can be so much better, even than today, if we're willing to let it be. But it requires us to receive what is here for us, which also includes our emotions. It includes our whole heart. All parts of it, the ups, the downs, the beautiful stuff, the brutal stuff. And so I feel like this feels so serious, but like I have such deep thoughts and I can't ignore them anymore. I have played it in the safe space for a really long time, fearful of if I show the depth of my heart, would I be rejected? Would I still be liked for who I am? Would I still be loved? Or would I be cast out on, a lonely, deserted island, feeling the depth of my heart all by myself? And what I have come to the conclusion to understand is I'm willing to do that. I am willing to do that for the sake of women everywhere, to see, to know, to learn, to understand that our hearts are what are going to get us home, meaning home within ourselves. Not all of the masculine doing, not all of the things that we think we need to be doing in order to achieve peace and happiness, but coming home to our hearts is what's going to bring us back to the fullness and the connection to the divinity that's within us that will allow us to carry the world forward in a positive and enlightening way. If you're watching this right now, I think we can all agree the world needs more love. And we can look at the world and we can be like, they just need to love more. But actually, we need to love more. And it starts with loving ourselves more. It starts with the willingness to open our hearts, to experience and move through the difficult emotions so that we can be tenderhearted and lead from that pure, honest place of unconditional love. So as I wrap it up today, I want you to think about that. Unconditional love. We weren't raised with it. No fault to our parents. This is just how generations have kind of come along. It's been a control mechanism, right? To get us to behave specific ways. It was kind of just like a mechanism that ended up being developed in a sense. And we need to undo that so that true unconditional love can exist for ourselves, for our children, for our partners, and for the world. And I believe when we do that, we will change the world. So if this resonated with you, if you want to engage in conversation, I would love to share more. Drop me a message below. Send me a private message. Whatever resonates with you. I'll see you later. Bye for now.